Mark Nicholas Moore on Facebook, poor attitude from Celtic. They thought they had to turn up just to win. Having it too easy in these games is no excuse for complacency, and we got what we deserved. Do you think that's a fair enough assessment?
I don't think... Listen, I've just spoken to some of the players and the manager. I don't think it was complacency. I think it was a bad little spell and never really recovered. I think Rangers... You've got to credit Rangers. I think the middle of the park, I thought they were outstanding. They never gave Celtic an inch. And unfortunately for Celtic, too many of their players had real off days at one time. I thought Hatate and Bernardo in the middle of the park really didn't get going. They were really wasteful with the ball. Callum McGregor had to try and mop up, and he get dragging at that as well. We were a bit more guilty getting the ball away. Guys like Liam Sales at the back, again, had a really bad day at the office. I think Celtic quite early on realised this was turning into a pretty bad day. And it never really got going, did it? But I don't think it was complacent. Listen, it might be in there somewhere deep in the kind of subconscious. I mean, when you get a 14-point lead, you've not got the same needs and wants, do you, really? And we've seen games like after, like dead rubbers after the league's done. This can happen. But it did seem a bit like that for Celtic. They didn't seem to ever get out of gear, into gear, sorry. It was just like a surprisingly bad performance. I mean, Dyson made up against a guy who's not playing right back before and struggles to get going. Nicholas Kuhn, probably the best player in the country all year, never get going. It just was a day that Celtic can have to really forget about. I mean, it was just a real off day, wasn't it?
Is it a day to forget about, Michael, though? Because when you consider that's 6 goals that Rangers have taken off them now over the last 2 games. And I think it's been similar, that the kind of pattern of play has been similar. Rangers snapping in, ratting about them in the middle of the park, you know, nicking balls off toes, intercepting passes, try to strangle and suffocate the road into Callum McGregor. I think it's really similar, and I think what you've got there is now back-to-back games, which, you know, if I'm Celtic, I'm a little bit concerned about that. Have they figured out how to play against us?
I'd certainly think that the first half at Hampden, and then a whole game today, that was the case. I think Celtic will need to figure out a different way of playing against Rangers now, because that kind of high pressing in the middle of the park, sitting not deep, but sitting waiting for that chance to get the ball high up in their own half rather than in the Celtic's half, and then turning it over and running at Celtic. That worked the first half at Hampden. But Celtic got a grip to that, and they got their passing game going at Hampden in the second half. They never got it going here. They continued to keep giving the ball away constantly.
And actually, Rangers grew into it, Mick. I mean, you'd said after the Hampden game that Rangers couldn't adopt that same approach because it was a bit too negative. But actually, the more joy they got today, the more the football started to flow. They actually looked pretty good going forward. It
gave them a real foothold. Listen, I need to check my stat book. I think that's the most shots Celtic have faced in a league game for about 10 years. I think it was 20 odd shots, which hasn't happened for I think over a decade. It was a real. Celtic was a real doing, wasn't it?
I think they said, Mick, on the Sky commentary that it's the most shots Celtic have faced since records began in the Premiership. 26 shots, which is pretty remarkable.
Aye, that's what I mean. Yeah, I don't think I've seen quite a chasing like that in any kind of game. So it's a major wake-up call for Celtic that it's not going to be a complete stroll. Certainly, maybe in domestic games against everyone else, but not against Rangers, because that's the last 2 games. Like you say, they conceded 6 goals and they've been really tested.
What was Brendan Rodgers saying after it, Mick?
You know what? It was pretty gracious. He said, Rangers were the better team, deserved to win. They looked like a side that needed it more. He was disappointed. I mean, listen, I don't think you can read the riot act when you've lost. It's your 3rd game in 51 games or something like that. So first defeat since March. So I don't
10 months, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be going and kicking over team sheet boards and all that. Doing teacups in the dressing room. A bit harsh. But as a wee reminder, I think he said that as well. It's a bit of a kind of reminder that it's not going to be all their own way all the time. And if they're not at their game, at their best, you can get punished. This is the Rangers team that have turned up. They turned up against Nice, against Spurs, albeit they drop points to Murns, Motherwells, and these kind of games. But they can, on their day, turn up and perform. And they did today. Whereas Celtic didn't. And it's definitely a huge reminder.
It was a tough day at the office for Liam Scales today, I thought.
I was going to say that. Really tough. He's had a great season, but today it was a nook for him. It was really bad.
Sharp contrast. Also, you get chucked in here for a debut. Was it last season?
The 1-0 game. Yep.
Yeah, out of nowhere, and never looked back. Whereas today was a bad day. His pass for the first goal was loose. He had a few more, didn't he? And he just never got comfortable. A real bad day. I mean,
he's not the only one. You can't single William Scales out.
Yeah, I don't think he was the only one. Exactly. There was pretty much 10 other pals alongside him who struggled as well. But he had a poor day. Slightly strange not to see Austin Trusty come in. Listen, Hamden Trusty got removed at half time and replaced when he wasn't particularly doing great. But I thought it might have been a kind of role reversal at half time here today. I don't know. Trusty's quite back to full fitness after being ill for Christmas. I don't know. Who knows? A bit of a bug going around the place. Like Celtic with Arnie Engels obviously this morning, calling in sick. But yeah, it was a real strange one, wasn't it? He had a bad day for Scales, but listen, he's got plenty of comfort around him for the support group this week because there's nobody really going out this game with a head held tie. I thought only, I think Cameron Carter-Vickers is probably the only one.
Yeah, by the way, once again.
A bit of one-man band.
Once again, there was a tackle that he made which was very reminiscent of the 4v1 that Rangers had at Hampden at that point in the match. Carter-Vickers got the block in. Can't remember who was shooting. Was it Hadji?
Igamani, maybe?
Igamani. But he just hurled himself across, or Barami or something. Unbelievable tackle. Unbelievable intervention at that point. You're thinking, oh, is that the same moment that we just watched in the final?
Rangers,
yeah.
Even Kasper Schmeichel today. I mean,
I don't know if there's much he could have done with any of the goals, to be fair.
Even his passing, and I thought he could have got down a wee bit quicker for Hadji's goal, Mick.
I'm not sure. I think he sees it late.
You know what? See, at the time, I thought at the time it didn't have a lot of pace on it going over the line. But then you see it back, it is going away from him all the time. So I think that's maybe been ultra critical. He had a few good saves when Rangers were threatened to run riot. He had 2 or 3 good saves as well. So I don't think he'll be feeling too chuffed, but I don't think he'll be first in the line to get his dunce.
No. We're getting a lot of comments on this as well, Max, so I should bring it up. A lot of people asking about the coin that was thrown at Engels.
Yeah. What was the reaction? What was said after the game about that, Mick?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Brendan Rodgers said, listen, it's the old kind of line. It could have had his eye out type line. Not particularly chuffed with that. Listen,
it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to see it. Listen, it goes without saying, you don't want to see that in any kind of game. Especially the kind of marquee fixture in Scottish football going around the whole UK today. We don't want to, around the world actually, but you don't want to see that kind of stuff. So Rodgers was disappointed, and I mean, the players as well saying, I don't want to see that. But I don't think they wanted to make that the kind of main angle of focus. I mean, I think the Celtic angle was they're taking their medicine today. That was an aspect of the game we really don't want to be seen. But don't listen. It's happening too regularly, isn't it? This kind of stuff. I mean, that's that time Rangers were 2 up, maybe 3 up. Even I don't know if it was 3 back.
I know it was the dying embers, Mick. Yeah, 3-0.
Game's done. It's party time. You've just beaten your.
Why do that
comprehensively? Why take an edge off a day that's been a good day that Rangers needed after the last few months? It's just madness, isn't it? It really is.
Yes, I mean that is the problem. I say how much I enjoy watching this fixture, but there's these bits that are bolted onto it that are really, really awful.
Really bad.
And you remember back to the Hugh Dallas game at Celtic Park and the images that went all around the world, and that could have been the exact same. The only difference there today was that the coin that struck Hugh Dallas in the head actually caused a cut to open up. It didn't happen with Engels, thankfully. But it's no different. It's the same offence. It's the exact same thing, And how bad would that have looked if one of Celtic's players had been felled and bloodied by a coin?
No.
And the image, the reputational damage that does to Scottish football is.
Even without
it's
disgusting.
Without the blood, but you know what I'm saying. When there is that image, I think the image of Hugh Dallas has kind of
lived in the memory.
It's never gone away, and that could have been something really similar. Not saying that because he wasn't bloodied by it that we just all moved on. There has to be some punishment here. There has to be a way of Rangers, checking out who was in that corner, going through the CCTV and banning whatever. And it looks to me as if there was more than one, because it looks as if there was certainly more than one coin picked up. So find out who they are, track them down, ban them.
Instant lifetime ban. Mick, just before we let you go, obviously the January window is now open. I know Celtic do their planning way in advance. They're a lot more thoughtful than reacting to a one-off defeat. But do you think anything today will spur them on or change Brendan Rodgers' thinking at all?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think they'll write it off as I can just have a bad day at the office. I don't think there'll be knee-jerk reactions either. I think Brendan Rodgers knows what he wants in January anyway. I still think there's issues to be resolved. The left-back issue, short and long term, needs to be resolved. I still think he wants the extra kind of wide player. I think a couple of them might go out in January. So, yeah, I think there'll be 2 or 3 coming in January no matter what. Nothing to do today. I still think he thinks the squad's a work in progress. Anyway, so yeah, I'd expect maybe a wide player, maybe a left back issue, obviously still up for discussion.